In the old city of Damascus, a baker pulls flatbread from an oven that has not been cold in 900 years. In a desert 200 kilometers east, a colonnade of 750 columns on each side stands in the sand exactly as it stood 1,700 years ago. Above a ruined city in the north, a citadel that has survived 8 invasions still stands above the 9th. This is not the Syria of headlines. That Syria exists. This one is older. One of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on Earth is here. A Roman caravan road still walkable on Tuesday mornings. A desert empire that briefly rivaled Rome in the 3rd century AD. A citadel on a hill that has been continuously occupied since the 3rd millennium BC. Syria did not stop being these things when the news began. The news ended. The bakery did not. And it has a 4-chapter answer. The bakery is open before the muezzin. A man in a flour-dusted apron pulls a wooden paddle from a stone oven, lifts a disc of flatbread the width of a dinner plate, and slaps it onto a metal tray with the precision of someone who has done this for 40 years. The oven behind him is older than the building he stands in. The building he stands in is older than most of the countries from which his customers will arrive today, except they will not arrive. The customers come from 3 streets in every direction, and have been coming from those 3 streets for as long as anyone can remember. The Souk al-Hamidiyah runs west from the Citadel Gate to the gates of the Umayyad Mosque, and at this hour it is almost empty. The high arched roof, its corrugated iron pierced with bullet holes from a French shelling in October 1925, which the locals have never patched, because the morning sun coming through them is, in a particular way, the souk itself, admits a forest of vertical light columns down to the stone floor. A spice merchant sweeps in front of his stall. The smell of cardamom rises into the empty arcade and finds nowhere to go. This street has been a market for 2,000 years. The Roman cardo ran underneath it, the Greek agora before that. Under the Greeks, an Aramean market town. Under the Arameans, prehistoric settlement whose pottery shards keep appearing in the foundations whenever something gets renovated, which is not often. The baker hands the first tray of bread to a boy on a bicycle. The boy weaves out into the side alley. The cardamom keeps rising. From the rooftops, the city resolves into its layers. The grid was set by Seleucus I around 312 BC. When his Greek surveyors laid the streets along an east-west axis, the Romans would later pave and name the Cardo Maximus, which the Arabs would later call al-Mustaqim, straight. Which the Book of Acts would mention by that name, and which a person can walk down today and buy a phone charger on. The names change, the road does not. Behind the rooftops, the bare flank of Mount Kaziyun rises 1,000 meters above the city. According to one tradition, this is where Cain killed Abel. According to another, this is where Adam was driven down from Eden and saw, for the first time, water. The water is the Barada River. Without the Barada, the desert would have arrived 3,000 years ago. With it, the city's 7 gates kept opening, century after century, into the same gardens.
From up here, the rooftops are flat and connected, a continuous brown plain, broken only by minarets and television aerials. The minarets are older than the aerials by between 400 and 1200 years. The aerials, by and large, point west. The city does not announce itself. It does not need to. 11,000 years is not a claim. It is a soft fact, repeated in the early morning by the sound of dough hitting a metal tray. And a bicycle pedaling down a Roman road, and a spice merchant sweeping a stone floor before anyone has arrived to buy anything. Two streets in, the bakery gives way to a courtyard. The courtyard gives way to something older.
From above, the Umayyad Mosque is a rectangle of pale stone set into the brown sprawl of Damascus, like a tray laid down by a careful hand. Its courtyard is open to the sky. Its three minarets stand at three corners of the rectangle, each carved in a different century. The dome at the center, rebuilt in concrete in 1893 after a fire collapsed the original, catches the morning light a half second after the minarets do. The mosque was completed in 715 AD under the Caliph Al-Walid I. The construction took 9 years and absorbed a substantial share of the surplus revenue of the Umayyad Caliphate for that decade. The architects were Byzantine, sent by the Patriarch in Constantinople as part of the diplomatic settlement that opened the Eastern Mediterranean to a single faith. The stonecutters were Syrian, the mosaics were Greek, the plan was Persian. What rose was none of those things, and all of them. In the courtyard, on the western wall, a section of carved frieze runs for 30 meters along the colonnade. Acanthus leaves, vine tendrils. The frieze does not belong to the mosque. It belongs to the temple that was here in the 2nd century AD, a Roman temple to Jupiter, the largest sacred enclosure in the Eastern Empire, on top of which the mosque was built directly and into. Before the Romans, the same ground held a temple of the Aramaean storm god Hadad, dated to roughly the 9th century BC. 3,000 years, 4 religions, 1 footprint. Inside the prayer hall, a green shrine of marble and silver holds, according to tradition, the head of John the Baptist, buried here when the Byzantines first consecrated the temple as a Christian basilica, and never moved when the building changed hands. Muslims and Christians both venerate the shrine. The arrangement is, by Damascene standards, unremarkable. The first minaret built, the Minaret of the Bride, rises 64 meters on the north side. The second, the Minaret of Jesus, rises 76 meters on the southeast corner, named for the place where, according to a hadith recorded in the 9th century, Jesus is expected to descend at the end of time. The third minaret, Al-Garbiyah, was added by the Mamluks in 1488. 3 centers, 3 reasons, 3 centuries. A man crosses the courtyard barefoot. He walks slowly. He does not look up. The 2012 war damaged a clock tower in the eastern arcade and broke 14 of the columns. The repairs were finished by 2019 with stone quarried from the same Lebanese hills the original Umayyad masons used. The seams are visible. They were left visible deliberately. The local restorers refused to disguise the repair on the principle that a building this old should be allowed to show what it has lived through. Not because the seams are decorative, because the repair is. From the top of the minaret of Jesus, the platform looks east. The view holds the eastern wall of the old city, then the suburbs, then the dust line where the suburbs end and the Syrian desert begins. 200 kilometers in that direction, a city built by a desert kingdom in the 3rd century AD waits in the sand. Its name in Greek is Palmyra. Its name in the desert, older by 1,000 years, is Tadmor. The minaret has been looking that way since the 7th century.
From above, the desert is empty for a long time. Sand the color of old paper. A faint road that stops being a road and becomes a track and stops being a track. Then, on the horizon, a line of vertical objects, slow, regular, equally spaced, that the eye refuses at first to read as anything other than a glitch in the landscape. They are columns, 750 of them on each side, in 2 parallel rows running east to west for 1.1 kilometers across the floor of a desert basin that has not held standing water in human memory. This is the great colonnade of Palmyra. The Roman geographer Pliny the Elder mentions it. The Greek historian Appian mentions it. The Hebrew Bible mentions an earlier version, where the same site is called Tadmor, a name in Aramaic that means, simply, palm. Palmyra was a trading city. The trade was Silk Road, the eastern routes from China and India that delivered into the Roman Mediterranean. And the cut taken by Palmyrene caravan kings on every passing camel made the city, for a brief 2-century period, one of the wealthiest in the known world. The wealth bought the columns. The columns bought the city's name in every chronicle written between Antioch and Persepolis. In 270 AD, the city's queen, Zenobia, born Septimia Bathzabai, fluent in 5 languages, including Egyptian and Syriac, declared independence from Rome. By 271, she had conquered Egypt, parts of Anatolia, and most of the Levant. By 273, she was a prisoner of the Emperor Aurelian, paraded through Rome in gold chains. Then resettled, by some accounts, in a villa near Tivoli. Palmyra never recovered. The columns were already standing when Zenobia rebelled. The columns are still standing. In the center of the city, a temple stood. Consecrated in 32 AD on the foundation of a Hellenistic predecessor, on the foundation of a Babylonian one, the Temple of Bel was the largest religious structure in the Eastern Roman Empire, dedicated to a Semitic god, whose worship at this site dates to the 2nd millennium BC. The temple is no longer here. In August 2015, fighters from the Islamic State occupied Palmyra and detonated the cellar, the inner sanctuary of the Temple of Bel. Satellite imagery confirmed the destruction within days. The Arch of Triumph,
200 meters west, was destroyed the following month. The Tower of Elabel, on the necropolis ridge to the north, was destroyed in early September. What is filmed today is what survived that destruction. The Great Colonnade is largely intact. Too long, too low to the ground, too useless as propaganda. The funerary towers on the necropolis ridge are partly intact. The Roman amphitheatre is intact, though the stage building was used for public executions in 2015, and the stones still carry stains that have not weathered out. The desert does not weather things quickly. After dark, the Syrian desert is one of the darkest catalogued skies in the eastern Mediterranean. Light pollution from the nearest occupied town is 40 kilometres away and amounts to a faint orange smudge on the southwestern horizon. Otherwise, the sky is the sky as the Palmyrines saw it. The Milky Way rises across the colonnade in a long, soft band of light. The temperature drops 25 degrees Celsius between noon and midnight. The columns hold the day's heat into the small hours, radiating slowly, the limestone faintly warmer than the air. A jackal cries in the necropolis, and the sound carries for 2 kilometers before the desert absorbs it. Zenobia died in Italy, probably around 275 AD, probably in her 30s, probably of natural causes. Her statue, once raised in the center of the colonnade, was destroyed sometime in the first millennium and replaced with nothing. The plinth she stood on is still here. The inscription is still readable. It identifies her in Greek and in Palmyrene Aramaic as the most illustrious queen, mother of the King of Kings. The plinth is empty. The sky over it is the same sky. Dawn arrives along the eastern colonnade. The first light catches the carved acanthus capitals, one column at a time, west to east, a slow procession of small flares as the sun finds each one. The desert wakes the way it has been waking for 2,000 years. North of the desert, a city older than Palmyra is doing something Palmyra cannot do, falling and rebuilding at the same time.
In 1996, the city looked like this from above. Rooftops, satellite dishes, the line of dust hanging permanently in the air. The citadel rising out of the streets below, a massive limestone block 50 meters high, walled, gated, framed by the tightly packed grid of the old city around it. The citadel of Aleppo sits on a tell, an artificial hill of accumulated occupation layers. Archaeological excavation has dated continuous habitation on this hill to the 3rd millennium BC. The city beneath it has been inhabited for at least 8,000 years. The first written mention of Aleppo appears in the archives of Ebla at the end of the 3rd millennium BC. A temple to the Aramaean storm god Hadad stood on the citadel hill at that time, and its buried remains were rediscovered by archaeologists at the end of the 20th century. The Hittites held the hill in the 2nd millennium BC. The Assyrians held it after the Hittites, the Persians after the Assyrians. The Greeks held it under Alexander. The Romans took it from the Seleucids. The Byzantines took it from the Sassanids, The Arabs took it from the Byzantines. The Crusaders took the city below, but not the citadel. The Mongols sacked the city in 1260. The citadel held. Tamerlane sacked the city in 1400. The citadel held. The Ottomans took it in 1516. The French held it after the First World War. The Syrian state has held it since 1946. Eight invasions before this one. The current walls, the polished glacis of dressed limestone, the gate complex with its 3 right-angled turns designed to break a charge, date to the rebuilding ordered by Sultan al-Zahir Ghazi, the son of Saladin, in the late 12th century. Al-Zahir installed his own court inside the citadel, including a throne room with carved wooden doors that survived until the early 20th century. The throne room is gone. The doors are in a museum in Berlin. The citadel still works. By 2025, the view from above has changed. The citadel still holds the center of the frame. The old city below is mottled. Patches of intact rooftops next to blocks of dilapidated buildings, some collapsed, some half-collapsed, some still occupied. The 2012 to 2016 siege of Aleppo destroyed approximately a third of the old city's historical fabric. The Souk al-Medina, kilometers of vaulted lanes that were the longest covered market in the world before the war, burned for 3 days in 2012. The Great Mosque's minaret, which had stood since 1090, fell in April 2013. The citadel itself took shell damage but did not fall. On the outskirts, the view lifts higher. A refugee camp, rows of tents and metal roof shelters arranged in a grid on arid land. Beside it, a cemetery, modern, recent, rows of gray headstones that did not exist before 2012. The cemetery is larger than the camp. The view returns to the citadel. The walls hold. Aleppo's old city was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1986. It remains on that list. UNESCO has not removed it, on the principle that what survived is still worth protecting, and what was destroyed is still worth marking as having existed. The citadel is the centerpiece of the listing. The restoration has begun. The seams will be visible. From the citadel ramparts, the old city resolves once more. Terracotta rooftops, satellite dishes, a single column of smoke from a working bakery on a back street. The morning call to prayer carries from one of the minarets that is still standing. The wind carries the sound east, then loses it. The headlines came, the headlines went.
The bakery in Damascus is closing for the afternoon. The flatbread is sold out. The boy on the bicycle has been to 7 addresses and is on his way home. The cardamom in the souk has settled. The dust over the city is the same color as the dust over the columns in the desert and the dust over the citadel in the north.
3 cities, 11,000 years in one, 2,000 in another, 8,000 in the third. 3 names that do not appear in the news this week because the news has moved on, because the news is not the same thing as the world. Damascus is still baking. Palmyra is still standing. Aleppo is still here. The headlines came, the headlines went. The cities did not.